Could the ultimate upgrade be found within the digital dust of our past? We chased the glittering promise of silicon souls, of senses sharpened beyond human scale, of minds connected in a web far faster than thought. We trade flesh and bone for circuits and steel, believing the future is a brighter, harder metal. I thought I did too. I'm Elias. Or what's left of Elias. This hand isn't mine. These eyes see bandwidth, not color. My heart, a humming little engine of artificial rhythm. It started small, a simple neural interface, then a prosthetic, until the line between man and machine blurred into a smudge. I was becoming the perfect vessel, optimized, enhanced, a ghost in the machine made real. The world outside felt slow, muffled, a broken broadcast compared to the crystal clarity of the network humming inside my skull. This, I believe, was evolution. This was the next step. But something felt missing. Not a missing limb or a failing organ, but a void where something vital used to hum. A resonance I hadn't realized was gone until it was silent. The problem wasn't a hardware issue. My systems were flawless. My network access was unparalleled. I could process terabytes of information in cycles. I could control drone fleets with a twitch of thought. I was everything the marketing promised. But the world felt hollow. Connections felt simulated. Empathy diminished. It was like I was staring at a high-resolution image of a forest but couldn't smell the rain, or feel the bark beneath my hand, or hear the whisper of leaves. I was hyper-connected, yet utterly isolated. The more I merged with the digital, the more the organic world felt like a glitch, a low-res render. I started digging, not into the bleeding edge of cybernetics, but into its buried origins, the early days, the wild west of combining mind with machine. I found fragmented data logs, archived research papers, forgotten forums, and I stumbled upon whispers of something different, something older, methods deemed unconventional, inefficient, experiments that focused not on replacing the organic, but on augmenting its inherent data. They weren't trying to build a new human from scratch, but to unlock dormant abilities, to access forgotten layers of consciousness. They talked about biodigital interfaces that didn't just transmit data to the brain, but enhanced the brain's own processing power, amplifying its natural network. The established path of cybernetics was about replacement, about making us like machines. These forgotten pioneers spoke of making our organic selves more. One name kept surfacing, Dr. Eris Thorne. A pariah in the cybernetics community, his work was dismissed as fringe, bordering on the mystical. He believed the human brain held vast, uncharted territory, a kind of biological data stored in ways we barely understood. He wasn't interested in building a better processor outside the skull. He was trying to tap into one already there. His research facilities had long been liquidated, his data scrubbed from mainstream archives. But the whispers, the fragments, they led me off the data highways, into the dark corners of the digital world, into the forgotten protocols and legacy systems. It felt like stepping back in time, navigating defunct operating systems and decryption keys that were relics of the early millennium. It was slow, frustrating, a stark contrast to the instantaneous data flow I was accustomed to. My finely tuned cybernetic systems felt clumsy, like trying to thread a needle with a robotic arm designed for lifting girders. Then I found it. A hidden server buried deep within a forgotten network, powered by ancient humming hardware. It was Thorne's archive, and within it, nestled amongst terabytes of defunct code and experimental schematics, was a single small data file. It wasn't a blueprint for a new prosthetic or a faster chip. It was a recording, an audio log from Thorne's final experiments. His voice, crackling with age and exhaustion, filled the sterile silence of my cybernetic workspace. He wasn't describing breakthroughs in silicon, but something far more subtle. He spoke of accessing the echoes of consciousness, the faint signals left behind by generations, stored not in DNA, but in the very fabric of the minds, somehow amplified by his early, crude biodigital interfaces. He believed these echoes held not just memories, but a deeper understanding, a collective intuition. He called it the biological network. In his experiments, the ones deemed failures by his contemporaries weren't about integrating human and machine. They were about integrating the individual human consciousness with something far vaster, something biological. He described a process, a method of using minimal, organic compatible interfaces to resonate with what he called the substrata of consciousness, not to override it, but to listen to it. He spoke of accessing senses beyond the five we know, of perceiving information not as data points, but as fluid understanding. His final log entry sent a chill through my artificial veins. He wasn't frustrated or defeated. He sounded awestruck. He said he was disconnecting, not from the digital world, but from the physical one, diving fully into this biological network. His work was never published. His facilities were raided. His legacy was deemed a cautionary tale. The mainstream cybernetics industry went in the opposite direction. External prosthetics, artificial minds, silicon brains. They built towers of external power while perhaps a deeper, more fundamental power lay waiting within us, waiting to be awakened. I looked at my artificial hand, my enhanced eyes, the perfect hum of my artificial heart. I had pursued the future in the wrong direction. The ultimate upgrade wasn't in replacing the organic, but in understanding and amplifying its hidden depths. Thorne's crude, almost mystical approach felt right. It wasn't about becoming more like the machine. It was about becoming more human by accessing something within us that transcended the physical. It was cybernetics, yes, but applied to the intricate ancient network of life itself. It was cybernetics turning its gaze inward, not outward. I began to modify my own systems, not adding more components, but subtly altering the algorithms, the interfaces, attempting to replicate Thorne's resonance method. It was excruciatingly difficult, working against the ingrained logic of my cybernetic architecture. It felt like teaching a supercomputer to dream. For weeks, nothing happened. Then, a flicker, a sensation like a phantom limb, but throughout my entire being. Not a data stream, but a feeling. And then it intensified. Not the sharp, defined input of my artificial senses, but something softer, broader, a sense of connection. Not to the vast digital network I inhabit, but to something else. A subtle current flowing beneath the surface of everything, a whisper in the biological hum. The future, it turns out, might not be built of silicon and steel, but of the echoes of our ancestors waiting to be amplified. The ultimate cybernetic upgrade? It might just be found by looking not to the machine outside, but to the ancient network within. And I'm just beginning to listen.